beautiful morning, good sunrise, etc. What a great day to enjoy some coffee nips in an RV and listen to Adam shower. Let's just go over here.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Mike, what's up? One sec. Hey, do you want to share some of my coffee? Where'd they go?
Oh, I'm already eating them. They're great.
Mike,
You can have some if you want.
those are my coffee nips. What are you doing?
What are you talking about? These aren't your coffee. These are the RV's coffee nips. These are for everybody.
I put them in my RV drawer that Adam lent to me.
We don't have specific RV drawers. There are just drawers in the RV for everybody.
Yes, and I claimed one of them to store my nips.
You didn't write your name anywhere. I bought the grapes for the RV last week. I should just have it. I should have it for everybody.
Mike, I saw those. I saw those grapes, Mike. They only the vine made it to the RV.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Adam. Nice towel around your head and nothing else.
Well, you know I like to air dry.
It's
the RV lifestyle.
I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
What's
you're
going
dragging
on?
down there. Oh my
Sorry?
god.
Adam, Mike ate all the coffee nips.
All the
I was
coffee
admiring
nips.
that.
We got
Yeah,
the 50-pound
I was admiring
bag.
the drag.
Yeah. No, I got
Well,
the
I mean-
50-pound bag.
I'm not done with them yet. I still got like 5 pounds to go. You want some, Adam?
Well, I'm looking at your hands right now, and I don't know how much of that is coffee nip and how much of that is... I know you've been working on your novel, Screed, your Flat Earth manifesto on your typewriter, so I don't know how much of that is coffee nip and how much of that is ink.
Well, the thing is, I don't trust typewriters to properly get my message, so I just dip my hands in ink and then write with my finger. So this does come from that. But
Well,
yeah.
I think...
Gross.
I think we can, if you're fine with that, Alex, I think we can resolve this issue through a little active listening. I think it sounds like Alex is not too pleased about you eating all of 45 pounds of coffee nips, Mike. Is that right, Alex?
That's absolutely correct, Adam. I am shocked and appalled at this turn of events, and I would like repercussions to be had.
It sounds like he is shocked and appalled.
Well, suck it.
It sounds like Mike is inviting you to suck it. Is that right, Mike?
That is correct. I am indeed offering for Alex to get down on his knees and, suck it. That would be great.
I'm going to put my towel around my waist. This is feeling a little... it sounds like Mike doesn't feel like he should be held accountable for this theft. Mike, do you feel like...
He's wrong. He
It's
took
not
my
theft.
shit.
It's not theft. He shouldn't be able to claim an entire drawer. Nobody else is claiming their drawers. I bought things for the RV last week. I think that everything, if it's in the RV, should be there for everybody. That's my statement.
All right, you socialist.
It sounds like Mike doesn't believe in personal property. Is that right, Mike?
That is correct.
But it sounds like
That is
Alex
correct.
does believe in personal property. So do you see where the disconnect is happening here?
I see.
I do. And Alex should get his Adam Smith-esque philosophy out of this freaking RV. We're here to be a commune. We're here to share everything. That's
You
how
should
it
get
should
your
be.
gross ass hands out of my coffee nips, you asshole.
Hey, leave my hands out of it.
Yeah, literally.
I will
think
when
that's
you
what
leave
Alex
your
is
hands out of
asking
my
for.
coffee nips. Yeah.
Well, I think what we need to arrive at here is it sounds like Alex is asking for an apology and Mike is asking for some sort of diplomatic immunity when it comes to eating other people's things. Do we think we can come together on that?
I don't know, Adam. That's a big ask.
I'm okay with that. I'm willing to come halfway here.
Well,
I think
it sounds
that's
like
fair.
Mike is willing
Is that
to come
halfway, though? I don't know if that's halfway.
It's about 90-10.
I'm
Yeah.
well, I've come some distance. I would like to hear Alex come his distance.
Mike, in the future, when I buy something, I will share a little bit with you. Not the whole thing. Just a little bit.
Just like 20 pounds of the 50?
That is less than half.
5 pounds.
That is less than 5 pounds. Let's call it 10.
Fine.
All right, it looks like we've come to a resolution, so I guess the only thing left to ask is how is it, Chi-Chi?
Ichi like.
All right. Solved. All right, I'm going to put on some pants, but why don't we start recording and, introduce the show and stuff?
No need, Adam, because we've been recording the whole time.
So you were recording me in the shower, and then when did you start recording?
It was not for weird reasons, Adam. It was...
For room tone?
Yes.
Now, just so I know when to... Okay, so I'm going to... If I have time, I've got kind of a busy week, so if I have time, I'm just going to edit it up to...
Okay, so I guess no one will hear the thematically appropriate argument about the nips.
I know, it would have been good in the episode, but I don't think it's appropriate. We're trying to keep our personal lives off mic.
No, it's what the people want. I understand.
All right, so introducing the show in 3, 2, 1...
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond for the first time. I'm Alex Shear, and this is my friend, Adam Rudy.
Hello.
And the two of us are the hosts of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, that's a little passive-aggressive. I don't feel like we resolved our issue from before, but...
no, what are you talking about?
That's an off-mic conversation. Mike,
right.
Mike D is here as well. Hello, Michael.
Hello. How you doing?
And this is the only Everybody Loves Raymond rewatch podcast, currently active today, despite, many forces which have worked to keep us off the air, God, etc. And we're going to be talking today about Season 2, Episode 2. It's called Father Knows Least. But first, it's been a week, so as we like to do, let's go around the horn here and catch up with each other. People love to get a little personal insight into our lives. Not too much, and certainly not when it comes to having opinions about the episode, but just a little bit to, humanize us a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Adam, why don't we start with you today?
Yeah, sure.
I want to hear of what you've been up to, aside from just showering.
Well, I showered. That was off mic, so let's not... we don't want people knowing my habits.
Mm-hmm. Personal lives.
So I actually... You'll notice today when I came to pick you guys up that the RV came to a full and complete stop. Unlike last week when you had to jump on board, I got the brakes fixed by somebody at the RV park. So this is good news.
Very good.
Yeah, and as we've talked about, money is a little tight, so I couldn't exactly pay for it, but I did make a discovery about the RV park, and I will be using some names here, but hopefully they don't hear about it. We want to keep things on the down low because this isn't exactly approved by KOA. But there is a whole sort of underground barter economy going on at the RV park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
like a buy nothing for the RV?
Yes,
RV
it's people? Like buy nothing for RV people, except it's not an app. It's all in person. In fact, it's not even public knowledge really. It's sort of a... I've never seen it, but it's like a Fight Club situation where you have to be invited in, or vampires.
And also not talk about it?
Well,
especially
maybe.
Not on your podcast with your stupid friends?
Nobody had said to me not to talk about it, even though there's this veil of secrecy over it. So it's sort of like an open secret, But the way I found out about it anyway is I came out, so at the end of the day, I drop you guys off. I go back to the RV park. I pull onto my pad. That's what they call the cement platform on which you park your RV. I push out the middle part. I get the awning going. I bring my picnic table down, put it in place, have a nice solo meal. Usually a banquet or a Hungry Man, sometimes a kid's cuisine. But I got up the next morning after, a fitful night of tossing, turning, night terrors. And I was about to come out to do my daily jog around the park. And as I stepped onto the step, I slipped on a bar of soap.
Oh, did you slide all the way here?
No. This was several days ago. I did slide down to the bottom, and the bar of soap flipped up in the air. It's sort of like, picture a banana peel, but soap. And landed right in my hand as I was laying on the ground. And I looked at it, and I saw it had a time carved into it. It said 9:30. And so I put 2 and 2 together, and, where do you bring a bar of soap to the shower? So I went to the communal bathhouse at the RV park, and, I have my sack of quarters, and I go into one of the stalls. I start putting my coins into the shower, and the water starts, and I hear this.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're the communal bath has coin-operated showers.
Yeah. Well,
This is something I've never heard of.
this is this is RV park. A lot of them are managed by this company KOA. This is managed by a company called KOA, but it's KAYO apostrophe EIGH, which is a woman, and she's pretty thrifty. I think it would be fair to say. What's wrong, Mike?
Nothing. I just think that KOA has a very, very appropriate name.
Yeah, you would call it an
impressed.
acronym for sure, like Usain Bolt or yeah.
Yeah.
And it is her. She showed, like, when you go into the office to rent your space, she's got her birth certificate framed as proof. So it is her birth name, as far as I know. But she's very thrifty, so she does tend to nickel and dime you for things like you have to pay to dump your sewage. There's certain areas of the RV park that are nicer that she upcharges for, and you have to pay for every fish you catch. You have to pay her like a tithe. Oh, and you do have to tithe, because we all do have to go to her chapel where she does her sermon in the pond.
That tiny little thing?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there are fish in there?
Well,
that are alive?
It was a manhole, and now it's a pond. So, yeah, she comes around and dumps some. I think she goes to Key Food every morning and gets some, whatever is on ice there, and dumps it into the manhole. And we all stand around, sort of like ice fishing. We all stand around with our poles and, pull a fish out, and then we pay her the fish tax.
So instead of just just having her buy the fish, bringing it to you guys, and just selling it to you.
Well, it's all part of the experience.
Is it?
Yeah. And believe me, as someone who has caught many fish from that manhole pond, the experience is worth it. It's worth the $39.99 that you have to pay per fish. And they're small fish.
Is that what's cooking over there?
Yeah, that's a manhole fish. I mean, a pond fish.
It's very small. You paid $40 for that?
I got it for free. I acquired it for free, but I did have to pay $40 in
Look at
tax.
rights.
Yeah.
Adam, there's a bite taken out of it.
Yeah, that was me. I got hungry after the coffee nip, so I just kind of went to town.
Well, then that's
please don't
okay.
eat on Mike. Mike.
What?
Please don't eat on Mike. People don't like that.
Yeah, put the nips down, man.
No, you can't make me. Listen, I need to reach
Guys,
the 10 pounds. Sorry, we already
people
had
don't want to hear
we had
this.
argument.
We're cutting this out, remember? So yeah, she oh yeah, coins in the shower. So yeah, she kind of nickels and dimes. She gets money where she can, 'cause she's not affiliated with the massive. She's a mom and pop. Well, just a mom. Well, not a mom. She finds a little extra where she can find it. So I went into the bathhouse. I put my coins in the shower, and as soon as I put my first coin in the shower, the shower turns on. You get like 60 seconds per quarter. And then I start hearing everybody starts loading in the bathhouse. It's this cacophony of people putting quarters into these showers. And then all the showers are on, and that's when the curtains fly open in every stall, and people come out and, they lay down. There's a little like ironing board thing because, the steam from the shower, etc. There's a little ironing board thing. People lay it down across the front of their shower stall, and it becomes kind of a bazaar, a marketplace. And you walk around, and people are offering their various wares, and it's a whole black market. So I go up to the mechanic. So it's this guy, Ronald Rogan, who fixes, everyone's RVs for a price. And, we're talking, and he offers to fix our brakes, because I was talking about how, we have no functioning brakes. My friends have to jump on the RV. It's really not conducive to anything. And, of course, I, sort of in passing mentioned, oh, yeah, well, this is actually, it's my home, but it's also our mobile studio where we record our Everybody Loves Raymond podcast. I didn't have much to offer him, and the only way I've been getting by is somehow this RV, I don't know if you guys have turned the air conditioning on lately, but is full of like Cumberland Farms gift cards. And that's the only way I've been eating.
I haven't.
You've been eating gift cards?
No, I've been taking the gift cards to Cumberland Farms to purchase
Listen, not for nothing,
breakfast
but I think
empanadas
it's probably
and
unhealthy.
Pizza. I'm not eating the gift cards.
They'll give you the indigestion, Adam. That's fucked up.
Plastic is nowhere on the food pyramid.
Adam, you could sell those for money that you can use to buy food.
I can use them for money
you should do that.
to buy food at Cumberland Farms. I've been eating
I don't follow.
ramen noodles,
No, you lost me.
breakfast empanadas, weird pizza, all the
All
wares
of these things
that they
are
offer.
better than the plastic.
Yes,
stop
that's what
eating
I'm
plastic,
saying.
Adam.
I'm eating these things. But
Really screwed up.
But yeah, if you run the AC in the RV for a few minutes, invariably a Cumberland Farms gift card will shoot out. So that leads me to believe that at some point, Billy must have driven this through a Cumberland Farms. Like, that's the only explanation.
Yeah.
What was my point? Oh, yeah. So I offered him, we were in the shower in the black market.
Together.
Everyone was there. And he's like, okay, I'll fix your brakes. But he's telling me, so Ron Rogan and his wife Nancy, they've got this daughter who is she's a high achiever. She's in AP English, and her teacher was like, for extra credit, it's very in right now for teachers to ask students to do podcasts. So her AP English teacher was like, if you do 6 episodes of a podcast about an AP English topic, I'll cheat on the AP exam for you and, doctor your score. So, the Rogans are having me, in exchange for fixing the brakes, they're having me produce their daughter's podcast.
Oh, when's
That's
that coming
great.
out? Give us an exact time and date.
We're recording the first episode. After this, I'm going to go walk over to their 1998 Jayco Designer fifth wheel, and record the first episode of the podcast. So probably, a week after that. It's not going to be a wide release. We're going to email it directly to the teacher. So, yeah. So their daughter, Joan, is doing a podcast. Joan Rogan. Yeah. And it's
awesome.
about, the immortal bard. So, so that's my new thing is I'm producing a podcast called The Joan Rogan Shakespeareans this week.
But I love it.
So what's up with you guys?
Well, Mike, top that.
You know what? I can't really top a 20-minute discussion on the RV community.
It's 10 minutes.
Well, regardless, that sounds way more exciting than what I'm doing. I mentioned this off mic because during the intro, but I've been working on my on my flat Earth socialist agenda book, and I think that's it's coming along nicely.
Manifesto.
That's it. Yes, thank you for reminding me of giving my thing the proper title. But it's coming along nicely. I'm doing a lot of finger painting with it, so it's going good.
You're doing
Your
it all by
painting?
hand?
Yeah, well, literally by hand, like not by pen or anything like that. Like I mentioned that I don't trust any technology ever, which is so I dip my hand in the ink that I buy from Staples, and I just scroll across my paper with my index finger.
You're aware. I'm just making sure you're aware that you are on a podcast that is on the internet that people access with technology. Like we're not just talking.
I was aware of 2 of those 3 things. I assumed the internet and podcasts were fueled by
gas,
magic. I didn't really think that was
Well,
What was
that's
that?
not
Gas.
That's
Gas.
not
Yeah,
important.
exactly.
Yeah, the gas-powered internet.
Yeah.
You were in your, previous life before you got involved with these people. You were a big steampunk guy. So it's not hard to
Sure
see
was.
how you ended up there.
Yeah.
So what is the content of your... I've seen a couple pages. I've seen a lot of drawings of squares and, flat... It's weird because you do draw it three-dimensionally, but only to show the flatness of it.
It exists. I don't believe in that there are two dimensions, Adam. I believe the Earth is flat, and there is a three-dimensional dome on top of it. That dome we call the sky, and that's my belief. And I believe that just like the dome covers everybody equally, so too must the economic systems that exist here. So that's what it's about.
So, Mike, I'm starting slowly but surely to give up on you as a human
Yeah,
being.
you're going down a rabbit hole.
So I decided
No, I'm fine.
I decided to just kind of just go along with this and say whatever. I was curious if you found a name for your book yet, because I have a suggestion.
Oh yeah, hit me. What is it?
Flat Book, Flatter Earth.
I like that. I like that a lot. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take that.
All right. Well, that's
Thank
yours
you. I'll
to
give
keep.
I'll give you writing credits.
I was hoping for some residuals, but maybe I guess please don't dedicate the book to me. Is all I ask.
I'm just gonna say bye Mike D and Alex Shear just for you.
Nope, I don't like that.
No, you already contributed. I'm already
No,
taking it. You got
please
it.
don't do. No, I don't want my name on this. I don't want my name anywhere near this. Please
Already added.
remove it. I will go to every bookstore in Limbrook and cross out my name on each copy of this book.
I
That will
don't
probably
think-
not
yeah,
hit.
I don't think you need to
conventional stores.
worry about that.
I will cross my name off of all 2 copies, Mike.
Mike has been buying a lot of manila envelopes lately. It seems like you're intending mainly to cold mail these things to people.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the manifesto tied up in a bundle. Like how the witch does in the Blair Witch Project. Just leave it right in front of people's doors.
You're not going to bind the book. You're just going to take a bunch of pieces of paper and just tie them together.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So all right. So
well-
any chance of you being taken seriously?
Yeah,
is
I feel
gone.
like most
That's
people
good.
are just going to throw that away, or the rain is going, because it's very rainy these days. We're in the rainy season in Limbrook.
That's a good point. I gotta waterproof it. Yeah.
Or not, just let it wash away because it's garbage. Wait, so you're
Okay,
planning...
I gotta be honest here. Can we just I feel like you guys are really just coming down hard.
Well,
on my
because you're
dreams here.
clearly
Like,
losing your mind.
We were together, and we were friends. And
Mike,
this took a hard turn. In 2 episodes,
In the space
mind you,
of
this
two-
didn't take very long.
Yeah, in the space
Mike,
of
you
2
gotta-
weeks,
you
you've
gotta
completely
Do
lost
what
your
you gotta
mind.
do.
It took you 2 weeks. Like last week, you checked out a flat Earth convention on accident, and this week you're writing a manifesto
By
on why
hand.
everything is a lie by hand. We needed to intervene here.
I
Coming
understand
soon
that it's
to a future episode.
traumatic.
This almost
It's traumatic
really-
that you saw God destroy a building. That seems to have affected you more than it affected either of us. But some things are going to remain unchanged from that experience, like the basic facts of the Earth is round. You can use a typewriter or a computer. Even.
Okay. I mean, so first of all, debatable as far as debatable. Listen, just a second ago, I don't think 2 weeks ago, I don't think science would have said, God will throw down a lightning bolt if the impractical jokers built a tower. Why on earth can't this other stuff be true? Everything goes out to the window. Listen, all I'm saying is that this book is going to be viral.
Yeah, it's gonna spread like the plague.
Oh,
I would appreciate it.
hey, no.
All right.
Little topical
Listen.
humor.
All right, you know what? All I know is that this is gonna result in. I'm gonna be able to laugh at you haters in the future. That's all.
You know what, Mike? Your ambitions are so low. You're just trying to change the world. I am shooting for a much greater goal. I'm trying to change the town of Limbrook. I don't know if either of you have been keeping up with local politics. Have you?
I hear a couple
No?
things. You know, we collectively receive one newspaper at the RV park, so it gets passed
Right.
around.
Okay, so to inform you, if you have not been keeping up, just to remind you from last week, when the Barone Zone went into space because of the incident with the Impractical Jokers, our current mayor was blasted into space because I preemptively sold him the Barone Zone, and then he, stepped inside before the rocket took off. So there's a special election happening, and the lead candidate is pushing a very concerning agenda, in my opinion. His name,
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, well, his name is Tyrone Dickey, and his goal, his number one platform is that
of the Dickies workwear empire.
Yeah, no, he's a part of that Dickey, but he's pretty low on the totem pole. He's a little Dickey. But he's running on.
But
I
think it's fair to say that with his political ambitions, that this Dickey is rising.
Reasonably fast, actually, and may stay risen for
about 4
reasonable
hours.
amount of time. Yes,
but no more.
People. Shit. What's the medicine? What's the
Viagra, Cialis?
Yeah, no.
Hold on, let me go to my medicine cabinet. Viagra,
they're-
Cialis.
They're calling him the Viagra of politics.
Wow.
That's great.
Because
So,
of his hardline
anyway.
stance.
Yes, and his refusal to back down to any challenger. But he his platform, he's running on the idea that Limburg used to have 2 skyscrapers,
yes,
and now there are 0 skyscrapers, and he's trying to restore that by turning the town hall into another skyscraper, and he proposed the name Tyrone Zone. And I think that is
that's insulting.
Just
That's
I am insulted.
Copyright infringement, I think.
That we could sue him.
It is.
But as you guys know, in Limburg legalese, it's illegal to sue a candidate if you are also not running for
That's
mayor.
right. It's a closed
That is
legal
true.
system only
So,
for participants in an election.
I have come to a decision. As you know, he is running unopposed.
Mm-hmm.
Until now,
Oh?
I am trying to find someone to run for mayor.
All right. Well, let's. Well,
That's not okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean,
we're,
so you're
Well,
we're
you
looking.
guys are
broadcasting
busy.
this. We're broadcasting this to Limbrook as we drive around. Like we have the megaphone up top.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they get to hear it live.
Maybe there's someone listening to us that wants to join that.
If you hear me and want to run for mayor of Limburg, if you were born in the town and literally have not left once in your entire life, then you are eligible. To run. I know Adam and Mike are both very busy with your very engrossing lives, and I'm very busy trying to find someone to run for mayor. So, I'll inform you guys next week if I find anyone.
Do you have any campaign management experience?
None at all.
Do you have any experience
Well-
in politics altogether?
Well, I know how to lie.
Hi-yo.
All right, that's a great start. That's a
Yeah.
great start.
So I think I'd be okay in helping, do that. I mean, you guys are probably better with the whole political thing than I am. I'm usually pretty uninformed until now. Just hearing about Dickey's rising platform just makes me very upset.
The pillars of his campaign.
Yes, he is trying to erect a statue to his greatness.
He's really thrusted himself into the race, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And,
yes.
Unfortunately,
And it's really penetrating the local economy.
And the town has the town, since he's running unopposed, the town has no protection.
They have no choice but to bend over and take it.
I don't think we should leave that.
Penis.
No, that must stay in. That was amazing.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, I hope that works well. I know you were hanging out with all those political types. You've really infiltrated the circle, so I think it's likely that you'll be able to find somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
There are a couple leading lights in this town, and
Yes.
I mean, I also-
unfortunately,
I've run a few. I participated in a few of the failed campaigns to unseat the last mayor, so I might know a couple guys.
Yeah, you were.
Mike, you know what? Maybe, I don't know. You're weird.
I wouldn't
now.
go
I don't
into
know if I
any
want
sort
you.
of.
I'll get back to you.
Get out of here. You guys don't know a good thing when you see it.
I will say, I don't like Tyrone using the zone name, but since the Joker's Tower was destroyed, they put the old town hall on top of it, and that, of course, was destroyed along with the rest of the tower. So now all of the town operations have been running out of the Starbucks.
Yeah, so that's why we're there. The main campaign of Tyrone Dickey is to just rebuild Town Hall in a grander skyscraper than before. He is proposing a 101 floor skyscraper.
Oh, that dick.
Again, very
that dick.
Just classless.
Classless.
So, my mission is I'm going to try and put a stop to this.
All right.
And get a regular, normal, one story, maybe two if we're feeling a
one-story ranch
town
house.
Hall. Yes.
Where our local government can be administered. I think that's the most admirable thing. I mean, I'm helping a child. You are, getting yourself involved in local civics and really making a difference. And
Mike is trying to corrupt
completely
the
lost
vulnerable.
his mind. So
you guys, I'm trying to save the world. But anyway, that's not why we're here.
I'll say, guys, we'll cut this out. I think a lot of that was, kind of made Mike particularly look bad. So I think I'm just going to cut, I've got this other podcast to produce. I think I'm just going to cut the first segment out this week, and we'll just go straight into the episode.
Sounds good.
That's what the people want.
Okay, so let's let's take a break because I do have to blow dry my hair, and then we'll come right back and record the actual episode. Right?
Sounds good.
All right, cool.
Exactly.
Mike, why are you walking across the street?
Because I got to get to the thing over there. So I'm going to cross the... Oh, my God. Ow.
Oh, my God, Mike. Mike, are you okay?
Ow.
Oh, my God.
Adam just hit Mike with his car.
Please, let's not... We can't go through insurance. Please, we cannot... The
my
Winnebago
leg
is not insured. We cannot go through insurance.
My leg is not supposed to be pointing that way. What do you
Okay,
expect
look,
me to
I
do here?
don't have any cash.
Ow.
Here's what I can offer you. Okay, this is the only asset I have. Do you want more of the Barone Boys?
I would love more of the Barone Boys, to be honest with you. That would make me feel great.
Okay, so if you go to postfund.org/donate and you pay what you want, donate
Mike, do it
any
right now.
amount.
Take out your phone.
And please do not open your insurance app. Do not wait. Let me see your phone really quick.
Car, and you want me to give you money?
Give me your phone really quick. Okay, I'm just
go.
deleting the Progressive app. Okay, there you go. Go to postfund.org/donate.
All right, I went there.
Pay what you want. Donate any amount. $1 or more one time or up to $10 a month, whatever you want.
All right, I'm going to throw you... you hit me with your car. Here's $100 for you.
Great.
Send.
Thank you. Okay, so now what you're gonna get is lifetime access to the Baroness Zonus just for your one-time donation. It's all there for you. You paid what you want. You got access to Baroness content. So can we please just leave this between us?
All right, fine. Well, let me actually hear the quality of the content.
No, you don't need to hear that. No, there's
no, not yet. Don't worry.
By listening to that song, to that episode, my leg got better. It's like it's pointing in the right direction again. Oh my God, this is a miracle.
I'm gonna maybe not make that a part of these ads that we do for the Baroness Zonus because of like false advertising. Like I don't think we can legally claim that it heals broken bones. But
to be clear, Mike did actually get hit by a car.
Yes,
I did get hit by a car.
His leg was broken, visibly.
I did listen to the Baroness content, and my leg is now fixed. Legally speaking, we want it on the legal record. We are not claiming those events
They are not correlated in any way.
However, it did happen, and it made me feel
It happened.
good.
We all saw it. Mrs. Henderson was crossing the street too. She saw it. Hi, Mrs. Henderson. Oh, she looks much better these days, by the way, since the
she must
Jokers
be
have
listening to the
left town.
Baroness content.
Are you listening to the Baroness Zonus, dear?
Oh, she's nodding.
Oh, okay. She can't. She's
Or she has an itch that she can't reach.
okay.
Let's go with the first part.
Well, Mike, let's just leave this between us, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Deal.
All right. Should I delete the audio that I was just recording of this?
What?
Or?
Welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. We're talking about season 2, or should I say welcome to Everybody Loves Raymond. We're talking about season 2, episode 2. It's called Father Knows Least. And,
Hell yeah.
you know, if everything went well, you didn't hear anything before this, we're just jumping right into the episode, because we're, you know, maybe off mic, we covered a couple of topics that maybe don't need to be on the show. But moving on. So let's dive right into this episode with our overall impressions. Alex, what was your overall impression of Father Knows Least?
I loved it. I loved Ray in this episode. I loved the interactions between him and Deborah. I also noticed, maybe this wasn't the first time, but this is the first time I noticed it, where Ray began to refer to Deborah when he gets home as different funny names that he just comes up with, which is a little trend that I love, and they play on this later in the show as well. Mm-hmm. So I liked that. I liked the idea of Ray kind of learning how to take or talk with his kids by learning to talk with his parents, because they are kids. It's just a very funny idea for an episode, and to me, it's a classic. I very much enjoyed it.
Great. Mike, what was your overall impression of the episode?
I had mixed feelings about this episode. I thought it was funny. I thought there were some very, very good moments, but I thought that there were some moments that was like, first of all, it felt like it was trying to say something about parenting, like old parenting versus new parenting, but it never really landed on a stance, and I thought that was really weird. Like, there was a line in there that stood out to me where it didn't get a laugh, wasn't a joke or anything, but Ray says something to the effect of, like, you can't find the answer to how to stop your kid from throwing plums in a workbook, which I thought, like, maybe that's where they were going, and then the workbook worked later on down the road, but they didn't. Yeah, so I thought it was, like, so, I mean, funny episode, had funny moments, had some scenes that I definitely remember and enjoyed, but I thought it was strange that it was, like, that it didn't reach a conclusion, because I thought it was going to at one point. So, yeah. That's my overall thoughts, and we can go scene by scene by it.
That's a good point. I kind of agree. Well, I don't know if I agree, but I do think that I liked where the episode started and where the episode ended, but I feel like the journey that the characters went on, it didn't make a ton of sense to me, because, I mean, it started with, Ray and Deborah not knowing how to handle Allie, not listening to them, and then Deborah was all about going to parenting classes, and then Ray was hesitant, but he went, but then he started, like, openly mocking it, and then it wasn't until he saw it work with his parents that he completely got it, but by that point, Deborah's completely out on these parenting techniques. Like,
that was weird too. Yeah.
The plotting of it was weird. I liked where it ended up, and it was funny along the way, but it was just, I don't know, maybe it's like life. Maybe it's about the journey, not the destination. But yeah.
I mean, it made sense to me. Like, the actions and the kind of reactions that they took kind of checked out with kind of what was happening in the show.
Yeah.
Deborah was unable to succeed with this parenting style, so she gave up on it. And then Ray was able to succeed on it, so he began to believe in it.
Yeah, I think maybe what I'm reacting to more is, like, I wouldn't have handled this in the way that Ray does. I mean, at the beginning and at the end, I'm fine with what, I mean, we'll get into more specifically, but I'm fine with how Ray deals with this situation. But it's like that middle part was just kind of weird to me in terms of, I didn't feel like the arc of of Ray and Deborah in the episode I don't know. I mean, it made sense within the logic of it, but it was kind of, I don't know. But it was a good episode, and there were a lot of funny moments. I think it was a great premise for an episode.
Yeah,
within
definitely.
the family context. Like, it's a very, it seems like a very basic premise, but I think they did some unique things with it. Like, obviously, every family sitcom has the kid isn't listening to mom and dad episode. But because of the way that this family is structured and because of the, vocabulary of this show, I thought they did a really good job with it. So,
I do want to say we are going to be giving some thoughts on like the way that characters handle this scene with parenting. I feel the need to just put out there that we're in our 20s, we don't have kids, we don't know what the hell we're talking about, but we're going to give opinions anyway and deal with it.
yeah.
We don't have kids that we know of.
This is the topic of discussion, and all we can do is honestly react to what we see. We're not basing it on our own experience so much as our own way of
Theories, maybe?
Well, it's our way of what we in our minds think, not having any experience with it, but what we think seems or looks like good parenting.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I know more than actual parents.
Well, you did
That's
write
what
that
I'm saying.
book.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
You wrote What to
Knows
Expect
everything.
When You're Not Expecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bestseller.
Well, relative.
Sold over 10 copies.
Best of your books. Yeah, bestseller. What were some of the other books that you wrote? There was the one that the cookbook that you wrote.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one. And also the other.
You don't want to plug the cookbook?
I don't know. I feel like Shake It Till You Bake It isn't really for the demographic of Everybody Loves Everybody
Well, and I
Loves
feel
Raymond.
like the mechanical, the sort of underlying premise of it is faulty, that the friction of shaking a bag of raw chicken is not going to bake it.
I mean,
not at the speed that a human can do it.
I guess.
And I mean, not to
We're getting off track.
not to shit
You're
on your
ruining
work,
his, yeah.
but if you
kind of shitting on his
the
work a little
recipe,
bit.
look, I'll say, because I did try all the recipes, and I have to be honest, I tried shaking it for the first recipe and noticed that the chicken just came out of the bag raw, so I started baking it. Then, fantastic cordon bleu, if I may say.
Okay, but you didn't shake it till you bake it.
No, I baked it,
And then you shaked it?
period. Okay, so we go to our cold open, and Rake is coming downstairs. He just put Alex. He just put Allie to bed, and he read her Rapunzel and mentioned that if you lived in a tower and your hair was that long and you didn't have access to shampoo, it would probably be pretty greasy. So he tells Deborah that Allie wants a haircut now. And then Deborah has to...
I thought that was funny.
That was funny. And then Deborah goes upstairs to... I like the line when Deborah was going upstairs to cut the hair, and Ray mentions, I gave her $1 to tip you with. I thought that was funny. Yeah.
I want to commemorate or just shout out, I forget her name, Allie's actor in this episode. She was fantastic.
Madeline Sweeten.
Yes, Madeline Sweeten did a very good job on this episode.
I feel like the child actors on this show were well cast.
I agree.
We'll get into that. We go to the anti-gravity opening that we first saw last week. I actually hit the old
that we're
skip
not a fan
intro
of.
on this because I don't like looking
Me too.
at it.
I like
Me too.
it.
I don't love it.
You guys are weird.
Well, to
Nah,
each their
I
own.
don't know.
And then our next scene, everybody's in the living room, everybody being Deborah, Allie, and the twins, and Marie, Frank, and Robert. And
Just a regular crazy day for the Barones.
yeah, and Deborah asks Allie to... Ray is coming home with dinner. Deborah asks Allie to clean up the dolls on the table. And Allie just ignores her at first and goes and shows Marie one of the dolls, and Marie has a funny line of, what's this one, a streetwalker? And Deborah's like, no, she's an aerobics instructor. But Allie continues not to listen. Ray brings home some food from Nemo's, presumably not a pizza because it was in a bag, but maybe.
Yeah, well, we don't know. We don't know Nemo. It could have been pizza balls.
Yeah, or he just dumped some loose slices into a bag for Ray.
That's also true. Maybe he's just bad at that. Yeah, that's possible.
But Deborah asks him to get rid of the Barones, and Ray sort of tries to get them out, and Robert mentions that
he doesn't even try to get them out. He literally just says, "Go home,"
which was good. Good job.
He says
Ray.
the words, "Time for you to go home." Which they ignored, and he didn't follow up on, which is not great. But
good opening salvo, but no follow through.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to sugarcoat it. He was just like, "You guys got to go." I thought that.
Yeah, he understands his family enough that like beating around the bush is not going to help. He just has to be straight up and be like, "Go home. It's time for us to have dinner. You can't be here."
Frank, I don't know what are they watching a sports game of some kind? But
he says he's watching the game.
Frank cannot watch it at his place, or they can't watch it at Frank and Marie's because Frank is taping Channel 5, presumably Fox 5, he's taping Channel 5 so that he can record a chicken commercial on their TV. It is the one where the chicken goes to the restaurant to eat the chicken because it's so good. And this sets up a running joke in the episode of the Barones just being absolutely thrilled with this. And then
Deborah not getting it.
Yeah. And then it does come on, and Frank and Robert absolutely giddy at the sight of this chicken.
Ray was enjoying it too, to be clear. Everybody kind of stops and looks at it, and it's great. Yeah.
Which there's absolutely nothing to say about it.
I thought it was cute. I don't remember ever. I know that I remember when we were younger and we had to record the radio when the song that you wanted came on, but I don't remember doing that with commercials. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't that into
commercial.
Yeah.
Well, I always made sure I watched. I made sure the Super Bowl was taped because I liked the commercials.
You and I are very different people, Alex.
Yeah, Mike, that has been established plenty of times, both on this podcast and our previous one.
Yeah, that's true.
But Deborah is still trying to get Allie to clean up, and then Allie yells no at her, and the temperature in the room changes significantly as Marie, Frank, and Robert, they're about to leave, but then they turn around, and Marie's face when Allie yells no is, she does a very good acting job of the judgmental mother-in-law in this moment, I feel like.
Yeah.
Deborah threatens her with no dessert. That doesn't work, and I think it's funny, Frank and Robert's reaction to no dessert and then to no TV for a week.
Yeah, they're commentating it like a sports game almost, where it's just like...
But Deborah, frustrated, tells Ray to handle it, and Ray does a terrible job.
He does 1, 2,
well, not
start
there
over.
Yet, but his first attempt.
I'm sorry, yeah.
And then Marie intervenes, of course, and tries to bribe her with candy, but that doesn't ultimately work. And then I thought she had the funny line of, "I don't know what Deborah's done to this child," as if Deborah's controlling this. And then Ray finally does threaten her with no TV for a week and counts to 3, the dreaded count to 3. He gets to 2 3/4, and then he's like, "I gotta warn you, I don't know any more fractions," which is
again
funny.
very, very fun.
Yeah,
a lot
line.
of great jokes in this movie, in this episode.
I consider this. I consider each episode of Raymond to be a cinematic undertaking.
It's a cinematic experience. Yes, I agree.
This episode actually had some, in the next scene, it has some weird, tracking shot and zoom. The camera work is more advanced than we typically see. But
I liked the line, "Why do I have to do what mommy says?" And Ray responds with, "Because I do."
Yeah.
That was my first audible chuckle.
Yeah.
for the episode.
Ultimately, Ray gets to 3, and then Allie screams and runs away and yells, "I hate you," which is rough.
Yeah.
As you mentioned,
That was
we're
intense.
not parents, but that feels like that would be a rough thing to happen, especially with other people around.
Yeah, especially some as judgmental as the Barones.
The next day or something.
Well, I also
Yeah, go ahead.
I also just want to put out there's one other line that Marie says before she exits, where she's like, "Raymond, how could you? What? It's so embarrassing to scold and yell at people in front of other people. Yell at your children in front of other people." And then she storms out, and as she slams the door, Ray says, "I hate you," which I thought was funny, but also I was kind of like, if the Barones are over every single day for several hours a day, they are no longer guests. Like,
That's
I just
true.
like it's almost like, what are you doing? It's the same thing. Yeah, that's so I don't know. Unsurprising to everyone. I think Marie was being unfair there. But yeah, that's my yeah.
Yeah, that was a good line. The next day or something, Deborah is loading the dishwasher. Ray comes in, and she tells him how terrible her day was because
Hey,
Allie,
lucky pants.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
when we
lucky
get that.
pants.
Yeah.
She's having a terrible day because Allie every 20 minutes was asking to watch TV, and then she gives Ray this flyer for parent effectiveness training. And Ray's like, "Where did you get these?" And Deborah's like, "They were sticking them on the windshields at Chuck E. Cheese." Which is
At the
pretty
Chuck
funny.
E. Cheese.
Such a great line.
And Ray doesn't want to do it at first, but his whole argument is like, "Oh, this should all come naturally," which is again not parents, but seems wrong.
It's just unrealistic, I think.
And
yeah.
he
I think
thinks-
everybody.
Yeah, and he thinks they're, good parents, great parents, and Deborah has the line, "Great parents don't find themselves in the supermarket yelling, 'We don't throw plums.'"
And there's a story there
Yeah.
that we're not going to explore.
I
was hoping that would be the end credit scene.
Of them back in the supermarket.
Allie
and-
throwing plums?
Like the story of why that was referenced.
Or we see them in the supermarket after the events of this episode, and Deborah
like, the twist is
successfully
that-
stops
yeah.
Allie from throwing plums. But that would require building 2 unique sets for this episode, which they will not do. We go to our next, eventually Ray agrees to go, and we go to our next scene, which is the classroom. It's being taught by this woman, Celia, who's played by Linda Kash, who works a lot. She is probably best known for being in a couple of the Christopher Guest movies, Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman, but she's been in a million things. And she is an alum of the Toronto Second City Theater. So that's Linda Kash. Not a lot of fun facts about Linda Kash. She just seems to be a working actor, and we respect her. She actually knocks it out of the
Linda.
park in this scene.
Oh, she
She does.
insane. Yeah,
She does.
very expressive. And to an honestly surprising degree.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting such a excellent performance.
I'm trying to
in
think
this
if we've
moment.
ever had a guest star on this show who has, not knocked it out of the park. Like, all the neighbors in Neighbors were really strong.
Pretty good. Yeah.
We haven't seen a ton
what was the woman that had
Patience Cleveland?
Shamsky? Yeah, she did good. She did good.
Yeah, no, she was good. I guess the worst guest stars in terms of pure acting ability are probably some of the athletes.
Athletes. Yeah, I agree.
Right,
But
of course.
Even in like Tommy Lasorda, really good athlete guest star. They
Barry
do a
Bonds
really good
did a
job.
decent job.
Barry Bonds said all his lines. Yeah,
That's all you can say.
he
That's
did a
all you
good
can
job.
expect from these guys. Yeah.
Kareem
was there.
His mind was on other things. He was like, "How can I get bigger? How can I be stronger?" And then he found the solution shortly thereafter.
Yeah. Yeah, sure true.
So they're about to dismiss the class, and then Deborah asks the teacher, specifically what they should do about Allie not listening. And the teacher suggests that they try active listening. And Deborah asks what that is. And all this time, Ray is trying to be like, okay, thank you, goodbye. But
well, I mean, I will say that Deborah did pull the last question at a meeting. They were like, all right, if we don't have any other questions, we can go home. And Deborah was like, actually, can we start this entire other lesson real quick? So, I mean, I get why Ray was a little embarrassed.
I don't understand why everyone else had to stay for that. I guess they all
asked
wanted
that question
to get
close to the beginning.
Yeah. Or honestly, Celia should have built in some time for specific questions. But it is weird to me that the entire class stayed, but I guess they also wanted to learn about active listening.
I suppose.
I don't know. I mean, you're going to an adult education class. You probably want to get your
education on.
Your education on, yeah. But Celia has Ray come up and do some role playing. And the premise is that Allie is refusing to visit Grandma on her birthday, and Ray has a funny line.
Ray was immediately sympathetic towards
I happen to know Grandma, and I don't blame you. But yeah, like we said, Linda Kash does an excellent job in this scene of role-playing. And then Ray brings up that Grandma is probably not going to have many more birthdays left, and so she cuts it short and suggests that they don't bring up Grandma's mortality. And then Celia suggests that Ray acknowledges Allie's feelings and reflecting the feelings back. And he, starts doing pretty well, but then he flames out once it stops going well and ends up screaming, "Because I said so," and threatening her, which prompts the teacher to dismiss the rest of the class and asks Ray and Deborah to stay after. So,
I will say that I think that okay, I had a thought, which was that there was no point. I don't entirely blame Ray for this becoming a cluster bleep.
Say it. This is.
I'm sorry.
Is this part of your new thing now? You don't swear either.
Fine, cluster fuck. Is that better? Is that bad? Is that what
Well,
everything? Are you okay?
Oh, that's great.
Are you okay now? Okay, good.
The tension
I'm glad that we
is
got
out
there.
of the room now.
Okay, cool. Anyway, I was gonna say I don't blame Ray for this becoming a mess, and the reason why is because the instructor was kind of just like, all right, let's practice active listening. You be an active listener. Like, she didn't really explain what it is that she wanted him to do until
all she
a little
really
bit later
said
on
was
down the road.
Reflect the feelings back, but did not
Yeah,
give any.
didn't really examples, nothing like that. So yeah, I don't blame him.
We didn't see the rest of the class.
Yeah, maybe the whole. But why would Deborah have? I guess that's a really good point, Alex. Is what was the bulk of the class that Deborah's situation was not answered by?
That's
when the scene opened, she was talking about bedwetting, which is like, okay, that's an important topic, but probably doesn't really match up perfectly with what they were interested in.
Yeah, does that fall under parent effectiveness? I feel like parent effectiveness is more like this
Discipline?
Active listening stuff. No, active listening and resolving conflicts and communicating. Not a parent, but yeah, I don't know what the content of the rest of the class was. But we come out of there. She has Ray and Deborah stay after, and we go to our next scene. Ray's in bed watching the chicken commercial, laughing.
Chicken.
And Deborah brings in their homework. So clearly the teacher gave them some homework after class, and they try...
Study date.
Steamy.
All right.
Steamy.
Role-playing part 2, then. Ray is 12 years old, and he refuses to shovel the driveway. And Deborah really tries the active listening thing, but as she says, are you being Ray the little kid or Ray the big ass? Because he is not taking this seriously at all.
No.
And he complains. He tries again. He says, I don't want to do chores, something. I only wrote down, I don't remember what the start of this was, while you're up in bed not sleeping with Daddy. And then Deborah replies, well, we all have chores we don't like to do. was a classic Ray
That was
Deborah
a
burn.
fun line, yeah. Yep.
But yeah, Ray is a real dick by not taking this. Like, this is what's weird to me is like he goes from I don't really want to put in the effort to this to openly being uncooperative, and it isn't
a huge
until
proponent.
It isn't until Deborah starts crying that he realizes that this is probably something that's very, important to her, especially because we find out that she tried it on Allie when they got home and it didn't work. So Deborah is frustrated by this. She really wants to find the solution so that they can have a functional relationship with their daughter. It was just weird to me to see, because I didn't think that the events of the class would have made Ray so obstinate about this and so uncooperative. And
I guess he was embarrassed. Maybe that was where it comes from.
But he's not in that situation anymore. He's with Deborah.
True.
So why?
Yeah, true.
Why completely discount all of it? I don't know. It was
point.
just. I understand why it was written this way, but it, I don't know, the leap there. Maybe
Doesn't
on the
entirely
drive
check out.
home. Maybe on the drive home, Ray was like, you know what? That was actually stupid. I hated that. I just want to go home and watch the chicken commercial. And then he turns on he's listening to the radio and the chicken commercial comes on and he blasts it as Deborah's trying to tell him, actually, Ray, take it seriously. He's like, no, chicken. That's probably what happened, right?
It's weird they didn't put that on screen. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually, that checks out.
Yeah. That got cut for time. Yeah,
and
exactly.
You can't. And obviously, the chicken commercial is a major campaign, so they're going TV, radio, print, billboards. It's absolute. I bet they drove past the chicken commercial billboard while the chicken commercial was playing on the radio.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Okay. We go to our next scene, the Barone's house. Marie is apparently making the meals for the week in advance and freezing them, but as she's doing this, Frank and Robert are eating it all. And then Ray comes over, and Frank immediately starts making fun of him for going to the class and says that they should go to grandparent class to learn how to get the nose and other examples I don't remember.
They're just making a goof.
But then Marie finds, as this is going on, Marie finds their tax refund check stuck to the ice cream. So presumably they receive the check in the mail, put it on the counter, forget about it, take the ice cream out of the freezer, dole out the ice cream, or in Frank's case, just went and ate it, and then put it back on the counter. Condensation attached the check to the bottom of the carton, replaced in the freezer. Does that make sense? That's probably what happened.
I don't know what it is about this scene, but something about Frank just like selfishly going for the food and just eating it without considering anyone else's opinion. It just really spoke to me. That is
You
all.
want to say more about that, or
Nope.
No, we're trying
Okay.
to...
No, I'm just
trying to
saying an
cover
opinion.
up the tensions that are developing between us and putting on a happy, fun show. But we'll talk about it later. That was all.
Okay.
Hopefully that was all edited out. But as I say, I'm busy. But Marie starts screaming at Frank about the tax refund check. And then something clicks with Ray, and he uses this opportunity to practice active listening and starts reflecting all their feelings back at them.
I think he specifically said like, "Oh, hey, we were talking about this in class," and he was just kind of watching at first, and then he was, you could see like the gears turning in his head, and like at some point he was like, "Ooh, I think I know what I can do here," and he does it. I think he does a pretty good job.
He really does.
it works? Yeah.
And it feels like he started on hard mode or something, because to get Marie and Frank down from full-on screaming at each other to Frank apologizing and Marie thanking Frank for all he does, which includes, as far as I could tell, just fixing the thing. But it actually is a really good example of a healthy communication argument, because Marie... they touch on, Marie shows her appreciation through actions, like making all this food, and Frank just feels like he would like to hear the words because, and Frank apologizes for being inconsiderate, and it's a really great resolution. Ray nails it.
This one felt very believable. It really did. I thought it was a good moment.
But so Ray is like thrilled with this. He's giddy. He leaves, and Marie does Frank start eating the ice cream, or does he start eating something else? I can't remember. But
he starts eating something.
Starts eating something, and Marie comes over and she's like, "How is it, Chi-Chi?" And Frank is like, "Chi-Chi, like." And Robert is absolutely disgusted, and he turns.
What have you done?
Is this the first time we're hearing their Marie's pet name for Frank?
Definitely. I would have remembered Chi-Chi. This is definitely the first time.
We would have talked about it.
Do we ever? Do we hear it again? I hope, right? This isn't just like a one-time thing.
I don't remember.
What would Chi-Chi even come from? The nickname for Frank? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. There's a story there, but I don't know what it is.
Well, there's a brand of salsa called Chi-Chi's.
I don't think that's going to be the same thing. I'm going to be real.
But remember in season 1, episode 7, how Frank became obsessed with salsa. Maybe
this could be a new nickname.
Yeah,
maybe this is a recent
one.
Nickname in the past 20-odd weeks of you like salsa so much, let's call you Chi-Chi. I mean, that's as far as I know, that's the best explanation we have right now. But maybe we'll find out the origin. We haven't revisited our Young Marie spinoff in half a year. Maybe we could cover that.
Yeah.
How is that draft coming, by the way, Mike? I know you've started writing it by hand.
I started typing it, and then I just transitioned to going by hand once I realized that technology was bunk. And then I got distracted by my manifesto. I'll come back to it eventually.
Is there a little bit of overlap between the two when you aren't paying attention and you start being like, the Earth is flat? Marie, hi Frank, how are you? Is that happening?
Typically, yeah.
Oops.
A couple of times. One character in particular, I introduced a new character into Everybody Loves Raymond. His name is Jeff, and he's the author insert, so he'll go on a few monologues, but we'll talk about that later.
He turns to the camera and says,
"Yeah,
have you ever noticed that the horizon appears to I should learn some flat Earth specifics so I can communicate with you.
You really should.
No, so I can tear them down. Is Jeff based on somebody from your meetings?
Yeah. No. It's like an anonymous thing. I can't tell the real name, but it's based on somebody.
You already told us. You told us about Dylan.
Yeah, I got a strongly worded email from he who shall not be named about that. So you say email, but because you're off technology, you're talking about Earth mail. Exactly. He literally dug a hole and put it in vertical so I could find it coming out of the house one day.
Well, because he lives in China.
Exactly. Anyway.
Wait, but doesn't that undermine your entire premise?
No.
Mike,
the China.
You have
China
proven your
tunnels that go all over the world. Shut up about it, all right?
Don't you mean all around the world?
Gotcha.
So Ray goes back to his own house across the street.
Yes, Ray goes home. He's on cloud 9. Deborah's talking to Allie. She tore open Michael's giraffe.
I like how Ray came in and saw them arguing. He was like, "Oh, perfect."
Yeah. He's giddy. He's seen active listening work, so he jumps in and starts coaching Deborah through it, and then eventually he just takes over, and they arrive at Allie was upset because the giraffe used to be hers, so that's why she acted out by destroying it, and she asks for the giraffe back, and Deborah says, well, it's broken now, and she's like, I know, but I want to fix it for Michael, and tears. Because
adorable.
They, resolve the conflict, and Ray is obviously feels like he just ran a marathon or was elected president, he's on top of the world. And Deborah is annoyed, and she even makes a gagging motion because Ray figured out active listening before her. So, I mean, really great scene, I feel like, just to see Ray being a good parent in this way, you know, to show that he can do it, which I feel like we haven't really seen there hasn't really been, I feel like, a kids episode since, The Ball? Like, that was really
Basically,
focused on
I
the
think.
kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where he came in dressed
Yeah.
as Santa at the end of that episode to keep Allie's belief alive, which was really nice. But yeah, great to see. He is kind of annoying about it. To see where Deborah's coming from for sure, because he's really, I mean, I'll say it. He's mansplaining active listening to his wife in front of their daughter. But we go to our hot close at the end, and Ray and Deborah are watching the chicken commercial. And then Frank and Marie barge in looking for Kleenex because they have 5 half-empty boxes, and Frank is mad that they don't pop up anymore, which is a real issue with tissue boxes, I feel like, but maybe not worth storming into a room and tearing open drawers and screaming at your wife. And Ray tries to facilitate again. I think he even turns to Deborah and he's like, I got this. And they completely have no tolerance for it this time. And it ends with Marie announcing that she's sleeping at Ray and Deborah's house, and Frank storms out. And Ray, I thought this was a pretty funny closing line. He goes back to his old methods and just yells after them, no TV. So that's that episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was decent.
Yeah.
I like what I like about that hot close, opposite of the cold open, we should say, is that I don't, it provides the reset, I feel like, for when we see moving forward Ray not having learned this lesson at all, or maybe learning that it's not worth trying to solve Marie and Frank's arguments for them.
Right. Kind of resets.
Yeah.
In a pretty natural way.
And we don't want Ray to get too much of an ego about him. Like, we've seen it a couple times, and it's not attractive on him. It's better when he's kind of a hangdog, like, pessimist. What are you going to say, Mike?
I was just going to say, I thought that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that it worked out, but, this is a weird kind of moment for me when I'm looking at this kind of like I was saying in the beginning, because, yes, active listening is crucial. Active listening is very, very important. I don't know if I 100% agree that it replaces, the punishment aspect, clearly, don't get me wrong, I'm speaking as someone that I should premise for the third time that don't know what I'm talking about, not a parent, but at the same time, it's at the beginning, no TV and not really getting to the heart of the issue wasn't ideal, but at the same time, it's I just thought it was a little strange that Allie's 6, and I think that it's not inappropriate to have some consequence for destroying property or for being disrespectful to the parents. And so I thought it was interesting that, and I maybe I'm looking for too much nuance in parenting from Everybody Loves freaking Raymond, but at the same time, I thought it was weird that, yes, they had the success in active listening, but there wasn't a consequence for Allie. What happened was Ray apologized to Allie, and I don't know. I'm glad that she was mature enough to realize that the switch, but I thought it was a weird kind of take that they didn't have that balance there.
I will say that, and I don't believe this was intentional, but the episode, or I don't believe that they had this in mind when they wrote that. What we see that argument resolve as is actually more of a restorative justice thing, where Allie is actively making amends to Michael by repairing the giraffe, or at least trying to, and then Deborah will probably end up actually fixing it. But, there's... I get what you're saying, because to have a protracted discussion with a 6-year-old, getting to the root of the problem and arriving at a restorative solution is probably not practical in everyday life. And depending on the developmental stage that the child is in, does not always produce any sort of meaningful, because, as we've actually talked about this before, kids at different stages have varying understandings of abstract reasoning versus concrete reasoning. And kids who are very young, and almost not, maybe a little younger than Allie at this point, if she's 6, have a very black and white sort of sense of good and bad. And, actions have consequences. Yeah. These are the rules. So I think that the stage that they're in, and, again, reading too much into this, is Allie is beginning to have that sort of abstract reasoning where, well, why is that the rule? Or why do I have to listen to you? So, at that stage, and, this is in ideal situations where you have unlimited time, at that stage, it does sort of make sense to drill down to the root of the problem and find an equitable solution. Not to say, some things are just the rules, but it's about arriving as to why that's the rule. Well, we don't destroy things because they don't belong to us and that's hurtful to other people. Or we take our dolls off the table so that everyone can eat at the table together. Like, they didn't have that conversation with Allie at the start. They just tried to go straight to the consequence.
What I think was the kind of intended message of this episode that they could have spelled out a little more, where it's not about, especially kids this age, it's not about kind of having that kind of discussion with them that they're a little too young to be having and actually understand maybe the root of the issue that can be resolved. It's more about teaching the parents, Ray and Deb in this example, to actively listen, quote unquote, to their kids so that they can understand why they are behaving that way and then take appropriate reaction to resolve the issue.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the lesson is about making or teaching them to put in that extra effort just to understand why their kid is taking the action that they are taking so that then they can decide what to do. That's kind of what I got out of it.
I think also, there's no expectation that the kid understands this side of it. All that they experience is, we're talking about what happened, and then at the end we arrive at, this is what you need to do. So it's more action-oriented for the kid, whereas it's more, in order to get to that action for the parent, it's more about, understanding, like Alex was saying. And, for disclaimer purposes, let's just say we are not parents, as we've said, but, I think the three of us are all coming from similar places in that we all have graduate degrees in education and understand the development of children. Or, to an extent. We're not parents, but we have some grounding in this, which we don't often talk about because that's not what the show is about, but it's...
But yeah, we're all very smart people.
Yeah, we are smart.
Believe it or not,
we're smart guys.
Yeah, and this smart guy is saying the flat Earth. The Earth is flat. Anyway, moving on forward.
Yes, how do we balance legitimizing our opinions with the reality of our personal lives? Good question. Well, you've come a long way since then, since you graduated. Some would say you've strayed from the flock.
Some would say my eyes have been opened. That depends on perspective.
Okay. All right, so let's go to the barometer. We've taken enough time.
Yeah.
Let's go to the barometer.
Yes,
let's talk about the scale from 1 to 10 on which we rate Ray at the end of every episode. As we established last week, we're going in reverse now to say 1 is the worst men in television history. We're talking about our Don Drapers, Walter White's, men who actively harm their families. And 10 is the great dads of television history, Uncle Phil, Danny Tanner. For me, like I said, I liked where Ray's start and end were. I liked that he started, parenting one way, because we're mostly talking about him as a father in this episode. sort of trying to parent with that heavy hand authoritarian style to the point where he ends up, which is more of an authoritative style where he's trying to establish ground rules, but, have understanding and communication with the child. So I like that. So, I'm inclined to give him like a 7. I'm not crazy about the way he interacted with Deborah in this episode.
Yeah,
so that
was
sort
going
of
to be my thing too.
knocks him for me. I feel like as a husband, he goes between not wanting to help to openly mocking the attempt to solve the problem to eventually gloating about how he's figured it out and she hasn't. So, with that in mind, maybe he's going down to a 5, but as a son, he does try to intervene and solve his parents' problem and teach them some, adaptive ways to deal with their problems, which is ultimately futile but is admirable. I'm just going to say a 6.
All right.
Okay.
That's solid. That's fair.
Mike, you go.
Okay. I'm with Adam for the most part on this one. I think that it's a weird episode because he's a great father by the end of it. I think that he tries to be a father at many different times. He's a good son at different moments, and he's an absolute piece of crap to Deborah. So it's a weird balance. I feel weird giving him even like a positive rating based only on his relationship with Deborah. But he does such a good job, I think, in the other 2 areas that I can't give him that. So I'm going to give him a hesitant 5.
Okay. A 5. Yeah. Alex, where are you coming in?
Cool. I definitely see where you guys are coming from, and I respect that idea that Ray does learn active listening, and he practices it well, and he uses that to really resolve issues with Allie and his parents in this episode in a mature way. He learns about where both sides are coming from. He takes time to understand and make sure both parties understand kind of where the other is coming from in order to create a nice middle ground to resolve the issue. And he does it extraordinarily well. But also, as you both have said, he definitely, in a very Ray way, he's like, he treats it like Spider-Man before he learns great responsibility, that he's just like, oh my God, I understand. I am perfect. I have this down and I'm an expert now. And then when he does the like, oh, you'll figure it out one day to Deborah, where it's just, oh my God. Yeah. But I think, in my opinion, the good he does in this episode, even if his parents, him, and his kids learned nothing, outweigh the negatives, I'm going to go with a 6 as well.
All right. Oh,
all right,
same
so that
as
puts
last
him
week.
5.6, yeah. 6 repeating, yeah.
5.7, let's call it.
Yeah,
that's exactly the same as last week.
Jeez.
All right, Ray, straight line.
He's averaging.
That's better
good.
than bad. His total average is 5.7, so that's good. That's it then. We've solved it. We've solved parenting. So
we did it.
That's this show. If you like it, go to the Barone Zone on Instagram and Facebook. Go to postfund.org/donate. Pay what you want for monthly bonus episodes in the Baroness Zonus. Go to forums.postfund.org to post a remembrance, which is an appearance of the cast in other media, including but not limited to print, film, TV, NFTs, or a Judge Deborah, which is a oppositional hypothetical. So something like, who would you rather have as parents, Frank and Marie? Or, nope, that's terrible. That's completely one-sided. Who would you rather have raise you as a single father, Ray or Robert? How about that?
Ooh, that would be a good one. That's a good debate. I think I actually choose Ray on this one. I'm not gonna front. Ray has his issues, but I think that Robert has more. So I think I'm gonna go with Ray at this stage in the game.
I'd probably choose Robert. So there you go.
That's
There's
what
the Judge
happens.
Deborah waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's what happens
Yeah.
in Judge Deborah. So go to the forums to submit those and any other questions, comments, concerns. No, not concerns. Questions and comments.
want
Actually, I
those.
don't even want comments. Just if you have a direct question or a compliment, please put them on the forums or go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and rate and review this podcast. Help us climb the old charts. Anything else to add, Mike, Alex?
No, thank you guys so much for listening.
Ditto.
All that's left to do
right.
is our classic sign-off, everybody.
Love.
Raymond.
And
We love you.
Deborah!